Hello Infiniteers, and welcome back to my toy box for the Nautilus. We're currently building a little adventure with our ship, which I talked about last time, and we placed some ocean around the ship and deleted some of the underside of the ship to make room for memory. And I put a short stretch of beach along this side of the toy box. And that's where we ended. And if we look at the memory meter on the right, it is starting to get full. So there's not too much more we can do with this toy box as far as building. However, I need to do something here with the beach. And as I was thinking about this, I have two problems. Number one, the beach, this is about as wide as the beach needs to be. And I need some room back over here in order to actually build what I want to build. And second, because I don't have the memory to fill all of the space that I plan to allocate, I need to do something to fill up this space. I can't just fill it up with trees. So I think the first thing I want to do is we're going to delete these pieces that I placed along here last time. We're going to pick this piece up, put it back, and we're going to run a wider stretch of beach along here. And when I placed that last block, you can see the memory took a little bit of a jump because I have just stretched the toy box to make it a little bit wider. And in order to fill all this new space, I think what I'm going to do is we're going to put some cliffs along here. These blocks don't take up a ton of memory. And I only need part of the beach here. So this is a lot cheaper putting this down than it is putting down a ton of plants to fill the beach up. Plus the fact that we got the sky dome back here that can kind of help with that a little bit. So we're going to place these down, and then I want to come in here and place a couple of blocks here. And my thinking here, I could just put beach down and some plants, but that's kind of boring. And I never like a boring toy box. I like the toy box to kind of look cool. So I'm going to see if I have the memory for this. But what I'm thinking is I'll add some nice cliff pieces along the front of this to make it look really decorative. And the memory took another little bit of a jump there, which is fine. I was kind of expecting that. But we'll see how well we do here. We're going to place a couple of those there. I'm going to place this here, followed by that piece. And I'm kind of going to do something here like what I did with my recent hide-and-seek toy box in toy box tutorials. And that is to build a little bit of a cavern here. And we'll see what this looks like. Alright, so we're going to go to the left. And I'm looking for the treasure grotto. We'll put the waterfall on the back side of this. Put this in here, drop it just like that. And then we'll place one of these here. And I'm going to grab a cave piece, and maybe even one of these mining tunnels, just for a little bit of visual interest. There we go. So you got a little bit of a tunnel with some treasure, leading out onto the beach. And my thinking is Jack Sparrow, when he retires, isn't going to retire in poverty. So if he's retiring on this little island, he's probably got a bit of a haul here that he's collected, which is going to be what he lives off of. Alright, so now we'll just kind of place some of these plants around the beach. I can't go too crazy with this, but we'll see what we can do. We're going to place that there like that. And we'll style these plants I'm putting down with the pirate strips. And I don't want to use a whole lot of variety here because I don't have the memory for it, but I think these three are going to be sufficient. Style this to be the pirate terrain. And there we go. Alright, so we will place some of these along the beach, interspersed with some palm trees. Kind of spread these out a little bit. Okay, and there we go. There's our beach. And then Jack's going to be living over in this section of the beach. So over here, we're going to put a little bit denser section of trees and things. Because what I want to try to do is herd the player through the cave there. Okay. Alright, and then I think what we will do to fill the rest of the space on the other end is we'll just place some more cliffs. That way we don't have to fill it up, as I said before, with a ton of trees. Let's see. I don't think this will collide with anything, so we'll pick that up. And we'll just come over here. Okay. And then we got the other end of the beach over here. Okay, so there we go. There's our beach. And we could come up here and place a few, not a lot because we don't have the memory for it, but we can place a few of these up along the top here. If you're on a system with a little bit more memory than I have, then you could probably get away with filling up the top of this with a few extra plants. Don't think I can get away with that though. So I think that's going to be sufficient so that when you're down at beach level, at least there's something up there. Alright, and then I want to place a little hut that Jack can live in. We use the Ewok village hut for that. I think I will place one more plant along the back here behind this. Like that, maybe, oh, like that. Put another tree over here. Okay, so there's where Jack Sparrow has retired to. And now we'll come over to the ship. And we'll go down into the chart room and grab the start pad. We're going to move this over to the beach. Oops. And we'll start out about like so. Maybe even, I might even move that hut off to the side. So I think I'd like that to be in view when the player starts the level. So we'll put this over here. And we'll move our start pad over here. So that's where the player will start. Okay. So when we begin the toy box, we start at this point. We're going to have some pirates come and attack the player as soon as they leave the start pad. And then the player, as they battle the pirates, will make their way through their little treasure cave here. And when they come out the other side, whoa, what is that? We can maybe have a few more pirates here, meet them on the beach. And then at this point, that draws the player's attention over that way. So they'll go check out the Nautilus. So that's my goal. Alright, since we have a little bit of time this morning, this breach build didn't take as long as I thought. Let's go ahead and set set up some of this. So we'll go down to the Creativitoys, and you'll notice we don't have a lot of memory left, so we have to be very careful here. I'm not going to be able to put a wide variety of enemies in here, but we have room for some. If I use one type of enemy, maybe two at most. I think that would work. And then we can have more enemies, meeting them from out of the ocean here. And that should be sufficient. And I think what I will do is kick this off with a trigger area. So when the player leaves the area around the start of the toy box here, I use that to kick it off. I could use a level starter, but I think I'll wait because the player might want to stand there for a moment and just kind of look around. I'll give them the opportunity to do that. Okay, so we'll need an enemy wave generator there. We'll need an enemy wave generator over here. And for this one, we connect it up to the locators in the cave. That'll be our spawn locations. And you know, I just thought of something. I was thinking of Jet Blast 190's trick about keeping the camera anchored. What if we come into the logic menu here and then go into the locator menu? Look at that, the camera stayed there too. It didn't spin around. That might be a trick that works not just for the path creator, but everything. I like that. That is so annoying, having the camera move around automatically on you. When I was a software developer, I was a UI designer, and one of the basic tenets of UI design that we followed was that you never automatically do anything for the player, because 9 times out of 10 you're going to cause more problems than you help them with. And I always find that when software developers try to help me, it usually doesn't, and then I'm like, stop helping me. Well, let's see, we'll try a couple of these clam guys here. And I'm going to do 2 of them and 1 of the other guy. As I said, I don't think I got the memory to be able to handle a wider variety. Alright, so for this one, obviously if you're in a hurry like this, I don't care about the camera. So I'm not going to waste my time trying to anchor the camera, as frustrating as it is, because it's not really impeding me. It's annoying, but it's not getting in my way. Alright, configure the wave. This time we're going to do 4 enemies, and we'll do the same. We can either do the same ones, or we can introduce a little bit different one. As long as we're only using a couple at a time here. So I think we'll use this guy and this guy. We'll use 3 of him and 1 of the turtle. Generation delay to 0. Alright, so when the player leaves the area, the trigger area around the start pad, do new logic connection when entered by player any Or oops, let's exit out of that. When exited is what I wanted. New logic connection when exited by player any. Come over here, generate the wave. And a new logic connection when the wave is generated. Go ahead and delete, or not delete, but deactivate the trigger area, so we only do this once. And then when these guys are defeated, new logic connection when the wave is defeated will kick off the next wave over here. And we'll generate that wave. And I think I will move these into the ocean so that it looks a little bit more like they're coming out of the ocean. Alright, and then we can move these up out of the way. Maybe stick them up here. Okay, between the beach and the enemies, you can see I've used up about half of the remaining memory that I had at the start of the video. Okay, and having the enemies actually out here is what is going to use up the rest of the memory. So I don't have any memory left to use. However, once those enemies are defeated, we'll be back to the memory we're at right now. And I'm not going to be able to do a whole lot in here. The player can come in and look around a little bit, but the main feature in this room is going to be the button that causes the ship to submerge. So I think what we will do is we're going to put this over here, like that. And then we're going to need our toy box door. Oops, I went too far. One more. There we go. Toy box door. And we'll just drop this down over here, out of the way. Okay. And so when the player pushes the button, we will trigger the toy box change. I'll set the toy box up in a moment. So new logic connection when pressed. Change level. And if we come into the properties for this, we're going to require confirmation because the player needs to know, whoa, I didn't mean to do that. I wanted to look around a little bit more first. So we'll do that. Destination locator tag, I'm going to change this and set it to 1. We're going to put a locator in the new toy box that will put the player basically in the same position they're going to be in here. And I'll set the destination in a moment. But while we're right here, I'm going to set another locator in that same spot here so that if the player in the other toy box pushes the button that's going to be in the same spot in that toy box, then instead of submerging, they're going to come back to this toy box and come up out of the water. Selecting that silly locator is going to be an issue. Alright, well, we'll move this out of the way temporarily, just so I can select this silly locator. And I want them facing the button when they come back to this toy box. And in the properties for the button, we'll set the door destination tag to 1. This does not match the toy box door down below. This is going to match the toy box door in the new toy box, which I have not created yet. I'm going to set both of them to 1. Alright, so we'll move this, put the floor back. Alright, now come into the properties for the toy box door. The destination. I had told you before I had saved off a copy of the base Nautilus ship. Okay, so I have a toy box with just the Nautilus completed, nothing else in it. We are going to import a copy of that toy box and use that for the underwater submerged section of my adventure here. So I'm going to import that toy box. And those of you who are watching the video are going to get a little preview, because this is what's coming next, is my Tron toy box. So you get a sneak peek if you're watching this. So if you want to comment on this in the comments, that's great. Don't mention that it's Tron. Keep that to yourself, because that's a secret that you get to know about. Those who are not watching this video aren't going to know that. So, but there you go. You get a little thumbnail preview of my Tron toy box, which that thumbnail's not all that impressive, but I'm doing some pretty cool things in there. I think you're going to like it. All right, but my Nautilus is the base ship. This is the toy box that is the base ship and nothing else. All right, so I'm going to import a copy of that toy box. So I'm going to select that. And we had an interior toy box. It's the Nautilus that I want. So I'm going to select that level, that world. I'm going to import that toy box and link it to this door, which is what this is doing. Okay, so the door link is complete. All right. And there we go. So now, let's come out over here. I want to save this toy box. And I've been keeping backups of this thing, so this is my oldest backup, so we'll just save over that. We need to save this before we try to go into that new toy box. Do. This takes a while. Sorry about that. It's exciting video watching, I know. And I'm thinking I could probably fast forward, but then see it finishes up by then. All right, so the player is going to come down in here. They can walk around, explore the ship, check it out. It's going to be empty while they're walking around. And then they come up to the bridge, and here's a button. Okay, so we're going to push the button. Travel to Nautilus? Sure, continue. And now it should load the new toy box, which is a copy of the Nautilus that we had done. And right now it's going to put the player on the start pad, which is in the chart room. So we'll need to place a locator on in the wheelhouse to fix that. But I gotta wait for this to finish loading. So how's everybody doing anyway? Hope you had a good weekend. And I hope you're enjoying this series. I think this is going to be kind of fun to build a little bit of an adventure with this. You're going to be able to do a lot more grandiose things than I'm doing, especially if you're on a system with more memory, but this should at least give you an idea of what you can do with this ship. Last time I showed you how to build the surface world, and next time we're actually going to build the underwater area here. So that'll be fun. All right, so it puts me here. But I want the player to be up in the wheelhouse. So we need to place our locator up there. And I think for right now, let me drop it out here so I don't have to get around that floor surface. We'll spin this around. And because we had set the door destination tag on the toy box door in the previous toy box to 1, I need to set that same ID here. So what this means is when I press the toy box, press the button in the other toy box to invoke the toy box door, it's going to place me here. And once again, we will place a button here. It's the same button. We'll use that later to raise the ship. And for this toy box, we're actually going to use the underwater sky. So we'll come down to 3.0, and I am going to use Ocean Paradise from the Finding Dory playset. If you don't have that, the Nemo power disc, sky for that will work. And if you don't have that power disc, you can use the toy dispenser to try to get that sky. Alright, so we'll delete that. Delete that. And there we go. We are underwater in the new toy box. So next time, when we load up the toy box and we come in on the beach and we push the button to come into this toy box, it should put us in at the locator there in front of that button, as if we never left that position. But now we're going to be underwater with our submarine. And next time I'll go ahead and build the underwater part of this. But until then, I want to thank you for watching, because we are at the end of our episode for today. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a comment before you go and let me know what you think of the beach and the underwater section here and some of the logic that I did. And also, if you like Disney Infinity and you enjoy my toy box designs, please like and subscribe for more videos like this one. That's all for me today. Take care.